Trump's acceptance speech, at least he talked about how he wants to try and unify the country. Well, let's see who he appoints. At least Trump's not some psychotic, right-winged ideologue. That would be a disaster.
Today, Trump has only fueled racial concerns with the hiring of his campaign CEO, Steve Bannon.
Bannon.
Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon, the former head of Breitbart News. Steve Bannon as chief strategist.
Ah, motherfucker! You gotta be kidding me, dumbass, damn stupid ass.
Okay, so to understand what this appointment means in full context, we gotta understand some key elements. First, what is the alt-right, and what does Steve Bannon's last job, head of Breitbart, have to do with it? And what does the chief strategist do as a member of the presidential cabinet? Okay, so first, the alternative right, also known as the alt-right, is essentially a modern rebranding of white nationalism. Another word I've heard being tossed around is an identitarianist, which is literally the exact same thing. But at the end of the day, they basically believe that you can't divorce culture from race. So basically, your race is your nation. So if you're Asian, even if you're born here in the USA, you should live in Asia. If you're of African descent, you should live in Africa. They basically believe that America is a white nation, not bothering to include the Native Americans in this deranged equation. And they believe that diversity is code word for white genocide. They recently had a campaign to boycott the new Star Wars 7 because they casted an African American and a woman for the lead roles, which is anti-white propaganda promoting white genocide. They also hate establishment conservatives, calling them cuckservatives, because they are race traitors and because they don't agree with their shitty ideology. Bottom line, the alt-right is a lightly veiled white supremacist group, and now gaining a shit ton of traction. Okay, so what does the alt-right have to do with Steve Bannon? Well, before taking a leading position in the Trump campaign, he was the head of Breitbart News. It's an online organization that Bannon himself proclaimed to be the platform for the alt-right. So some, and I'm only gonna talk about some of the articles because frankly I don't have all day, feature these following headlines. Birth control makes women unattractive and crazy. Would you rather your child had feminism or cancer? There's no hiring bias against women in tech, they just suck at interviews. Or how about young Muslims are a ticking time bomb in the West, increasingly sympathizing with radicals. Okay, so one may argue, well, okay, but he didn't actually write all those articles, okay? Well, he may have not written this garbage, but the guy is peddling it and has been a key actor in propelling it into the mainstream. So now he has the opportunity to enact his agenda from the White House. Great. So he's apparently Trump's pick for chief strategist, but what does the chief strategist actually do? Okay, this position is a fairly fluid one and depends largely on what the president decides his role is. So Trump says that he's pretty much going to have equal power to his chief of staff, Reince Priebus, and serve as one of Trump's main advisors. What concerns me most about this is that, okay, we can pretty much agree that Trump, he's not an ideologue. 1 minute he's pro-choice, next thing you know, he's pro-life. 1 minute it's ban all Muslims and build a wall. And the next it's like, well, not all Muslims, and the wall is going to be more like a fence. So the troubling part is that Trump is incompetent when it comes to governing. So he's going to rely horrendously on the people he surrounds himself with. And now you got a guy like Steve Bannon with his ear, who is honestly a hell of a lot smarter than Trump and more fucking dangerous. Holy shit. So, for a guy who supposedly wants to unite the country, and what did he say? Bind the wounds of division? Instead, he rubs salt in those wounds by making this very first selection someone as incredibly controversial as Steve Bannon. So, either A, he's open to and willing to advance the alt-right ideology, or B, which I feel is far more likely to be the case, he's an incompetent, self-serving fuck who has no idea what the fuck he's doing and doesn't give two shits about uniting people. So this is Tracking Trump. Stay tuned and stay informed.